Hello everyone, welcome back to another Nightfall Q&A. This week it's Omnigul with Mega Burn. That's all 3 burns, so that's great because everyone loves Omnigul so much. If you're interested in how to solo this place with Mega Burn, I have a run linked in the description. It's a bit old, but I assure you it is still the same Will of Crota you all know and probably hate. Let's get on to the questions. First question, does Husk of the Pit still drop? Right now, Husk of the Pit is bugged. According to Bungie, they are in process of fixing it, but I don't know when exactly it will be fixed, so hold off on farming it for now, and when it is fixed, I'll be sure to say something on Twitter, and I'm sure you'll see something on Reddit as well when it's fixed. Next question, do you think the galleys only LFG problems will get better or worse depending on how people will make up for the loss in DPS of the Wolfpack rounds depending on how much they are nerfed? Isn't it likely people will just ask for more Gallarhorns as a result, making the galley problem only worse? Well, not if they nerf it enough to the point where the differences between it and a regular rocket launcher or even a heavy machine gun are close. People just need to stop relying on the weapon, and Bungie needs to stop designing encounters to stop making people think that they need it to complete anything. Let's face it, strike bosses, they're boring as hell, and strikes are basically slightly longer missions. The game needs more intuitive mechanics and boss encounters to make it feel like players aren't just shooting into a sponge until it dies. Make it so people can't take advantage of just standing still launching 14 rockets into the boss's face, and make it so that there are other more pressing things to attend to. We will be seeing some of that in the Taken King. Strikes are supposedly getting a makeover to make them less crap. So hopefully a little bit of both will make things better. As for how much I think it'll be nerfed, I'm guessing somewhere in the 30 to 50% range. I don't think they want to completely eliminate its power, but they definitely want to chop it down a peg. I think anything less than 20% is a total cop-out on their end, and they might as well not even nerf it if it's anything under 20%. Next question, have you ever thought of doing a challenge mode which consists of using white tier weapons to defeat Skolas or any boss? Because you totally should. Well, if I haven't thought of it, my fans sure have let me know how much they'd like to see a Kvostov or white weapon only Skolas or Crota challenge. The thing about those weapons is that they're so bad in damage that it would take forever to do anything, although I guess that's probably more Kvostov related and less the 100 attack weapons. You'd end up just being more efficient not even using those guns. I think one of my clanmates told me that if you have full ammo on the Kvostov, your entire inventory of ammo would run out before you could kill a level 26 Praetorian. All of that being said, I'm sure one day we'll try it, if for any reason just so I can refer people to a video instead of just ignoring the question over and over. Trust me, it has been asked thousands of times. Probably not thousands, make it hundreds, at least 100. Next question, you've mentioned in the past that you've had a decent amount to say about elemental primaries and their balance. Will this ever make it to a video in the near future? Probably not. I've slowly been coming around to elemental primaries as being alright. It doesn't look like any burn mods are going away, and they're not a bad counter to those burn mods by any stretch. Basically, I don't have an argument good enough to make it into a video or anything comprehensive other than they enable people to just blitz through what is supposed to be the most difficult content, but they're only rewarded by doing the most difficult content anyway, so yeah, probably no video on the horizon on that. Next question, what if Bungie nerfs the way that they, in this case Black Hammer, is now, but they make an exotic version that you get by applying Crux to it? This version has the pre-patch White Nail, now you can't have G-Horn and Black Hammer on at the same time. This is yet another example of trying to fix something that isn't the problem with a weapon. It's just that all I ever see to fixes to these weapons are just desperate attempts to fix everything that isn't wrong with the weapon. No one ever really suggests a fix to the actual problems with some of these weapons. It's just alternatives that try and get around whatever the issue really is. What if G-Horn had a slower reload? That'll fix it. Just make Black Hammer exotic. And tons of others. It just reeks of desperation to hold on to something that everyone knows is really strong, but no one really wants to admit. Who cares about PvE? That's a stupid argument because guess who cares? The people who make the game. They have a certain standard for what difficulty they think the game should be. I'm just sick of people beating around the bush. The weapons are problematic. You guys know which ones I'm talking about. And why are people so desperate to hold on to these weapons? Do you guys really want to be in, like, year 6 using Black Hammer, Fatebringer, and G-Horn? People complain about loot not being interesting and now just want to stick with the same stuff for 10 years. Super interesting. Yeah, that's super interesting. I love playing a loot game while I'll never get anything more powerful and I'll never feel more powerful. I don't know anymore. I'm just tired of seeing the desperate attempts to fix things that don't actually get to the core of the issue. If anything, Bungie is saving these weapons, because guess what? If they have to make things that are more powerful than what we have now, then power creep goes berserk. By nerfing the weapons, bringing them down to a somewhat reasonable, but still very strong level, they increase the lifespan of the weapons while simultaneously enabling the development of cool, strong weapons that don't have to compete with such nonsense. Next question, what currently makes Sunsinger better in the PvP and PvE meta? Is it self-res? I've never been a fan of self-res because I'd just rather not die. I hear a lot of people saying Sunsinger is the best class. Well, the strength of the Voidwalker was mainly in Nova Bomb and Bloom and its energy drain builds. With Prison of Elders, things are a lot more spaced out, which limits the power of Bloom and Nova Bomb and makes something like Radiance a little bit better where you can spread damage around. However, I would imagine a lot of it revolves around the ability to self-res, though. It's very powerful in Prison of Elders and decent in Trials, but people have been learning how to deal with it very well in Trials, to the point where it's not nearly as much of a threat anymore, or at least this has been my experience. Next question, is Death from Above bad? I never see anyone using it unless they're wearing Helm of Inmost Light. It's not that it's bad, it's just that other stuff is better. Death from Above also has the ability to screw up your Fist of Havoc, because if you are in the air even the slightest amount when you Fist of Havoc, you'll just go straight down as opposed to leaping forward. That, and generally, if you want to get a really good Death from Above Fist of Havoc off, you have to make yourself very visible, signaling to people that they should probably get out of the way. As you guys will see soon, sometimes it doesn't behave in the way you want it to either, although that's more from extreme heights. Next question, do you have a reason for staying on the shorter side, 5 to 10 minutes, with the videos that you make? YouTube attention spans are short. On average, maybe 30 to 40% of you will make it to the end of my videos. That, and most of the time, I'm not writing a college paper. I don't need to talk longer just to extend the video artificially. Once I'm done with my thoughts, I'm just done, and sometimes those thoughts are briefer than others. I'd have longer videos if the point of the video was to show off gameplay, or if I was doing Let's Play style content, or if I was funny. Next question, no offense, but what's with the profile picture on Twitch and AskFM? It looks kind of weird. That's just a picture that my friend took when I worked in television, and I like it, so I'm using it. That's really the only reason. I use it for Twitch in case I ever branch away from Destiny for whatever reason. That's why my Twitch page is It's Datto and not Datto Does Destiny. That, and someone actually took Datto Does Destiny on Twitch. I don't know why. Next question, diverting away from Destiny for just a minute. In Rocket League, do you think killing or hitting the other team is dirty? My friend said that it wasn't because you can kill people. I disagreed because just because you can do it does not make it not dirty. Every once in a while, or just kind of like spur of the moment during the game, I think it's fine, but obviously if you're just gunning for someone over and over and over again, yeah, that's pretty frowned upon. It is part of the game, it is something you can do and sometimes it's a strategic play, but abuse of its power is super annoying, and I feel like it's just one of those unwritten rules that you just don't go blow someone up for the hell of it. In tournament play, it's considered bad sportsmanship if you're found exploding other players often, but there's no penalty for it, as far as I know. It's basically just a dick move, but nothing more. Next question. Datto, you are very well spoken. I would even go as far as saying you are a more convincing speaker than most politicians, delivering your videos without any ums and ahs, and using proper grammar and syntax. Does this come naturally, or do you have to work at it? Also, you should run for office. I'm glad you think that, because I think I'm not very well spoken. I just have the benefit of having a script in front of me, which is not something a lot of YouTubers do. I feel like a lot of YouTubers will just have an idea in mind about a topic, start talking, and then just roll with it. By making a script and then editing the audio, it merely seems like I'm well-spoken because I took extra time to write said script and edit it to sound nice and clear. Of course, this increases my production time on my videos, which is an unfortunate side effect, but questions like these are why I value the extra effort so much. It's nice listening to someone who doesn't stumble over every other sentence, even if I could edit them out. A script also lets me stay on track and make sure that I cover everything that I wanted to cover. Next question. Out of Theon, Crota, and Skolas, which fight do you think is the least well-designed? That is a tough question. I think Theon is well-designed. It just became one of those fights that became easy with mastery. Crota's concept is interesting, but it's too reliant on one person. Skolas is tough, but they basically just slapped a debuff you need to shuffle around into the fight. The mechanic is just deal with the debuff. It's definitely Crota versus Skolas in that fight. I'm inclined to say Skolas because I'm more biased towards 6-player content, but it's tough. Skolas does have a mechanic, but it feels more like a side mechanic as opposed to a main one. Like, Devouring Essence wouldn't be the main mechanic for a 6-person fight, but because it's a 3-person fight, Skolas, it's significantly more stressful to handle. Last question. Destiny's loot system seems broken right now. There are 4 paths to level 34 gear: Prison of Elders, Trials of Osiris, Iron Banner, and Vendor gear. All of these paths, Trials of Osiris is clearly the best. Its bonuses are equally valuable across all game modes and make you better in all game modes. Prison of Elders is too specialized, and Iron Banner has no place. Discuss. Well, wouldn't that be alright, considering Trials of Osiris is the most difficult to succeed in according to the general public? Shouldn't the hardest thing in the game get the best loot? I agree that most of the Prison of Elders bonuses suck on the weapons, but all endgame PvE gear has had bonuses that link with the thing that they are from. Crota's end gear gave you sword buffs. VOG gear deals more damage to oracles and has Vex bonuses. Prison of Elders gear buffs you depending on which room you're in. Iron Banner is not meant to be for the hardcore player with regards to gearing upgrades. It's designed to be a thing for players to be able to catch up late in an expansion. Vendor gear is in a similar boat. It's not meant to be the super amazing gear that you pick up from the endgame. Prison of Elders gear is generally going to be better for Prison of Elders because it has those bonuses that buff you in Prison of Elders. However, it's not the end of the world if you don't have that gear, and I would argue the same for the Trials gear. Most gear in the game is pretty interchangeable. Anyway guys, that is your Nightfall Q&A. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.